What happens when one of Hollywood's most controversial actors sits down with one of daytime TV's most outspoken hosts? You're about to see it unfold, and trust me, this interview goes off the rails in ways no one expected. Before we jump into it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below with your thoughts, because what happens here is absolutely wild. So Ezra Miller walks onto the View set, and the audience reaction is mixed right away. There's some clapping, sure, but you can also feel this heavy, awkward tension hanging in the air. Joy Behar is sitting there with that familiar look on her face, the one that tells you she's already locked in and ready for a fight. The other co-hosts are smiling, trying to keep things friendly. But Joy clearly isn't in the mood to play nice. Ezra sits down, and before anyone can even finish a proper welcome, Joy jumps straight in. She says, "So Ezra, let's address the elephant in the room. You've had a pretty rough few years, haven't you?" The way she says it doesn't sound like a real question. It sounds like a charge. Ezra's smile fades instantly. They lean back and respond, "I'm here to talk about my work, Joy. I'm here to talk about the art." Joy doesn't slow down at all. She leans forward and says, "But your work has been overshadowed by your behavior, hasn't it? We can't talk about your career without talking about everything else." The room goes quiet. You can feel the shift immediately. One of the other co-hosts tries to step in, saying something about how people deserve the chance to move forward. But Joy cuts her off. "No," she says. "I think people deserve answers." She continues, "Ezra, there have been multiple incidents, multiple allegations, and then you disappeared for a while. Now you're back promoting a movie, and we're all just supposed to forget." Ezra's jaw tightens. "I'm not asking anyone to forget," they say. "I've been working on myself. I've been in therapy. I've been taking responsibility." Joy interrupts again. "Accountability? Real accountability would be sitting here and actually explaining yourself instead of hiding behind carefully written statements." Ezra's face turns red. "I'm not hiding behind anything," they say. "I'm here, aren't I? I showed up." Joy fires right back. "You showed up because you have a movie to sell. Let's be honest. If you didn't have a movie coming out, would you really be here?" Ezra pauses, clearly trying to stay calm. "That's not fair," they say. Joy laughs, openly. "Not fair? You want to talk about fair? Let's talk about the people who were hurt. Let's talk about the families affected by your actions." The tension is thick now. The other co-hosts glance at each other, visibly uncomfortable. One of them tries to steer things back by saying, "Ezra, maybe you can tell us about the film and what drew you to this role." Ezra takes a breath. "Thank you," they say. "The film is about redemption and second chances, which really connects with where I am in my life right now. It's about someone who made mistakes and is trying to find a way back." Joy cuts in again. "So you saw yourself in the role? You related to a character who messed up?" "Yes," Ezra says. "A lot of people can relate to that. Making mistakes is part of being human." Joy tilts her head. "But there's a difference between making mistakes and showing a pattern of harmful behavior. Wouldn't you agree?" Ezra's voice gets sharper. "Joy, what exactly do you want from me? Do you want me to sit here and punish myself on national TV?" Joy replies, "I want you to be real. I want you to stop using vague therapy language and actually own what you did." Ezra grips the armrests. "I have owned it. I've apologized. I've done the work privately, because that's where real change happens, not on a talk show." Joy shakes her head. "But you're a public figure. When you mess up publicly, people expect public accountability. Otherwise it looks like image repair." Ezra leans forward. "That's your opinion, Joy. You don't know me. You don't know what I've been through." Joy responds, "I don't know you personally, but I know what's been reported, and a lot of it is disturbing." Ezra's face hardens. "And you believe everything you read?" "I believe credible reporting," Joy says. "When multiple people tell similar stories, that matters." Ezra shifts in their seat, clearly agitated. "This is trial by media," they say. "Whatever happened to innocent until proven guilty?" Joy shoots back. "What about protecting vulnerable people? What about believing victims?" Ezra raises their voice. "I never said not to believe victims. Don't put words in my mouth. I'm saying I'm a human being who deserves a chance to heal." Joy responds, And what about the people you hurt? Do they get to heal while they watch you walk red carpets like nothing happened? The studio is silent. One co-host tries to call for a break, but Joy waves her off. "You're being hostile," Ezra says. "I'm being honest," Joy replies. "Maybe you're used to easy interviews, but not here." Ezra laughs bitterly. "This feels like an ambush. This isn't an interview. It's an attack." Joy's eyes widen. "You agreed to be here. If you can't handle tough questions, maybe don't do press." Ezra responds, "Tough questions are fine. Accusations and judgments are not." Joy says her judgments are based on facts. Ezra says there's context she doesn't understand. Joy tells them to explain it. Ezra pauses and says some things are still legal matters and they can't discuss everything. Joy jumps on that. "How convenient. You can talk about your movie, but not the ugly stuff." "That's not what I said," Ezra replies. "You're twisting my words." Joy says she's pointing out that Ezra wants fame without accountability. The other co-hosts look deeply uncomfortable. One says, "Maybe let Ezra answer without interruptions." "I am," Joy snaps. They're just not saying much. Ezra's voice cracks. "I don't owe you my trauma for entertainment," they say. Joy responds that it's about responsibility. Ezra says they've faced consequences, lost work, lost relationships. Joy says, "And now you're getting it all back." Ezra looks straight at her. "You really think this is easy?" Joy says she thinks Ezra is avoiding real accountability. Ezra stands up. "I came here in good faith," they say. Joy stands too. "Sit down." "We're not done." The audience gasps. Ezra looks shocked. "You don't get to tell me what to do." Joy says it's her show. Ezra finally sits, arms crossed, clearly shut down. Joy starts listing allegations again. Ezra cuts her off. "I'm not going to argue every headline on TV." "Then why are you here?" Joy asks. Ezra says they believe in second chances. Joy says trying isn't enough and asks what Ezra has actually done. Ezra explains private apologies and restitution. Joy scoffs. "So you paid your way out?" "That's not what I said," Ezra snaps. "I tried to make things right." Joy says some damage lasts forever. Ezra looks down, eyes wet. "Do you think I don't know that?" Joy says she doesn't see real remorse. Another co-host tries to acknowledge Ezra's willingness to be there. Joy says courage would be facing it head-on. Ezra says nothing they say will satisfy Joy. Joy agrees and says Ezra learn how to sound changed, not be changed. Ezra calls that condescending. Joy tells them to explain what they've been through. Ezra talks about mental health, addiction, pressure, and bad decisions. Joy responds that many people struggle without hurting others. Ezra says that's on them, but they're not a monster. Joy says forgiveness isn't owed. Ezra says they don't expect it, just a chance to prove they're different. Joy asks what if they're not. Ezra looks crushed. "Then I'm doomed?" Joy says she wants Ezra to show change. Ezra says they can't if people already decided who they are. Joy says she hasn't written them off. Ezra says it feels like a public execution. Joy says it's a hard conversation. Ezra says it feels cruel. Joy softens slightly and says she wants honesty. Ezra stands again, emotional. "I thought I'd get a fair shot," they say. Joy tells them to sit. Ezra refuses. Joy says walking away is the problem. Ezra freezes. "Low blow," they say. Joy replies, "Truth hurts." Ezra asks what Joy wants from them. Joy says she wants them to stop hiding and face it. Ezra, in tears, says they face it every day, reading comments, seeing looks, living with it constantly.